Well, good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. Today is November the 5th. I'm going to do your Just for Today in a meditation for you. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our Hood Recovery Services. If you need to reach me, feel free to do so at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. I always do. Or you can leave a message down below. As soon as I see it, I'll respond. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the meditation. It's going to show the subscription first for the other meditation, but we'll get quickly to this one. Okay, November 5th, God's guidance. This is the Just for Today in a meditation, okay? Our higher power is accessible to us at all times. We receive guidance when we ask for knowledge of God's will for us. Basic text, page 95, talking about the 11th step. Okay. It's not always easy, to make the right decision. This is especially true for addicts learning to live by spiritual principles for the first time. In addiction, we developed self-destructive, antisocial impulses. When conflict arose, we took our cues from those negative impulses. Our disease didn't prepare us to make sound decisions. Today, to find the direction we need, we ask our higher power. We stop, we pray, and quietly, we listen within for guidance. We've come to believe that we can rely on a power greater than ourselves. That power is accessible to us whenever we need it. All we need to do is pray for knowledge of God's will for us and the power to carry it out. Yeah, I added a word there, and I think it should be there. Each time we do this, each time we find direction amidst our confusion, our faith grows. The more we rely on our higher power, the easier it becomes to ask for direction. We find the power we were lacking in our addiction, a power that is available to us at all times. To find the direction we need to live fully and grow spiritually, all we have to do is maintain contact with the God of our understanding. Just for today, my higher power is a source of spiritual guidance within me that I can always draw upon. When I lack direction today, I will ask for knowledge of my higher power's will. That's beautiful. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. So, having access to a higher power, the God of our own understanding, should be something that is fundamentally true for every human being alive. Should be true for you. It should be true for my neighbor. It should be true for myself. It's fundamental. It's fundamental to be able to live a life that's worth living to live a life that has value, that I personally feel has direction, that doesn't always seem easy, but there is always a solution. I believe that is my right as a human being. The problem comes in my thinking, because I think that this higher power is always willing and ready to express its love, its care to me, to everyone, through whatever avenue that is easiest for the individual to establish communication and a relationship with. That's why I say it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter to God that you have an accurate, correct, precise understanding of who, what, how, where, why God is. Because the spiritual nature of God makes it virtually complicated, or if not impossible, for us to be able to do that. But what is important is your understanding. Have you ever heard that St. Francis prayer that says it's better to understand than to be understood? This to me applies in the understanding of my higher power. It's more important for me to understand my understanding of my higher power. Who, what, when, why, and where. To have an understanding of that. Because once I can establish that, right? Once I can establish my understanding and accept that, now the flowing of the energy, the life-giving force, the love, the care, the forgiveness, how about that? Begins to flow to me. And the reason why it begins to flow to me now that I have an understanding that I accept, that I'm not constantly wrestling with, if God be true, why is it I'm suffering? If this is true, that there's a God that really loves and cares for me, why is this happening to me and my family? Why is this taking place? No, why did that take place? It's not possible that there's a loving, caring God out there, because no loving and caring God would permit for such a thing to happen. And I beg to differ. So when I began to wrestle with the mere thought that God exists or a higher power exists, because of what I perceive as proof as a lack of care or concern for me or the world or my neighbor or whoever, and I make that judgment, now all of a sudden, because I'm stuck with the wrestling, nothing else can flow to me. And surely the only thing that can flow away from me or out of me would be anger, resentment, bitterness, unforgiveness, hatred, strong dislike, disdain. I think hatred is a strong word. So disdain for self, for others, for any suggestion that there is a power greater than ourselves out there that cares anything about humanity. So it's very necessary that we individually understand a higher power, or who or what our higher power individually is, right? We turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understand him. Okay? So the language there is monotheistic, but don't get stuck on that language, because that just is a pervasive culture. But in reality, if you read the literature, you dig into it, yes, it uses the terminology God, higher power, a power greater than ourselves. But it also is very precise about making sure that we know individually we have a right to our own understanding. But here's the thing, most of us don't understand a single thing about who, what, when, why our higher power is. Most of us are operating on someone else's higher power, or a higher power that we learned about as we were growing up. And we haven't taken the time to figure out what our individual understanding is. And a lot of the issues that we have spiritually come from that lack of understanding or willingness to accept where I individually am with the understanding. But once you do that and you're able to have an effective third step in your life, now all of a sudden the energy and the understanding and the access to the wisdom and the knowledge that you need to operate your life vigilantly in recovery on a day-to-day basis starts to flow to you. It's a wonderful thing, people, to be able to feel that you are not alone in the world and that you have someone or something that you can turn to help you navigate yourself through complicated things in life. I never discount that. I never discount that I have a wonderful relationship with the God of my own understanding, because a lot of people don't. And a lot of the peace and the joy and the energy that I exude comes from being centered in that area. And I want that for you. We can have the ability to stop and pray and quietly listen within ourselves for guidance. See, one thing I know is true. People like to give um, negative reasons for why this is an example of meditation, why it is when I'm sitting by myself and I'm quiet, why it is I can hear my own heartbeat, or why it is there's this small pulse or vibration within me that if I pay attention to it, it's undeniable. Every living thing has frequency, has a sound to it. The universe is full of a symphony of sounds, frequencies. You ever had a dog and you were trying to train your dog, you could have a dog whistle that would hit a frequency that the human ear could not hear. And if you could hear it, you had very good hearing. There's some sounds that take place in the universe that hit a frequency. And these frequencies range from a wide range. But it is pretty scientifically proven that certain frequencies have certain effects on humans. And some of them can be, healing for the body, can bring a sense of peace. There's all of this that is going on that we don't even talk about in recovery. We focus on the disease of addiction and how we can recover from it. We don't talk about these other concepts. We might in certain settings, but generally speaking, you're not going to open the basic text and find this information that I'm sharing with you right now, even though it is scientifically proven and true. So this is where I'm going with this. It is virtually impossible for a single human being to not have access to a power greater than themselves. And that power that is greater than themselves, or it may not be their higher power that they claim, but it's a greater power than themselves. And I'll leave it right there. It's virtually impossible for a single human being not to have access to that if they are able to learn the art of meditation. That's why I believe people that are agnostic or atheist in concept, in ideal, can still be loving and caring and generate positivity, because these are the same people that love to spend time in nature. They love, they can tend to be artsy. They might be into research and science, right? Because we all have the same type of structure, regardless to race, religion, creed, lack of religion, uh, it, sex, our genders, right? Regardless to any of that. I have two eyes, you have two eyes. You have two ears, I have two ears. There's one mouth, one nose. There's a heart that beats. There's two kidneys. There's blood that is pumped in and out through the heart. Our nerve endings land in our feet. That's why you should take care of them. You can use reflexology to heal thyself just by massaging certain areas of your feet. No one's going to talk about these things. But it doesn't matter that they don't talk about them, they're still fact. Every human being has the same type of structure. We don't have the same DNA makeup as far as what's in our blood or not in our blood. If that's the case, it wouldn't be male and female, right? So, I mean, on the simplest form. So what I'm saying is that it's a wonderful thing when you can learn the essence of meditation and learn how to quiet yourself so that you can have a oneness with a power greater than yourself, hopefully your higher power that you understand and that you've chosen, so that you can receive the life energy that includes awareness and knowledge and direction for your life. I want you to practice that today, this 11th step. I want you to practice that and hit me up in the email or hit me up down below and let me know where you're at with this. Where are you at in being able to receive guidance when you ask for the knowledge of God's will for you, your higher power's will for you? And what you might be struggling with, let me know, because I don't have all the answers. I don't, but I might have one or two suggestions that will help you move this further down the line towards where you need to be. My name is MightyStream. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I will be talking to you tomorrow.